Why? Is it because this is the bedrock of our society? Let's talk about Genesis. Genesis Revisited. Or, no, wait.
Remember when Adam fucked everything?
Yeah, I do remember when Adam fucked everything in the world. He fucked all the animals, and he named them. He fucked a stingray, fucked a sea urchin,
Fucked an elephant.
fucked an elephant,
Fucked a jellyfish.
fucked at least one jellyfish.
Probably only one.
He learned his, I don't know, man. He fucked a lot of things. He might not have learned his lesson.
Oh, man, what do you think the skunk was like? Ostrich?
Allegedly.
Alligator?
It would take at least 2 men to fuck an ostrich. 3 even.
Gonna have 2 to hold it down.
Even if it was a sick ostrich.
Remember when a chapter opened with then Adam banged his wife?
God, that was the best.
That was.
That
was the moment that I knew this was going to work.
Yeah, that was, in that moment, I felt really good about this show, how we were doing it, and I really want, that's a great tattoo. That is an amazing, no, because I got the new international version now, so I can look it up what it said in there. It was early.
It was like chapter 2.
Yeah, it was super duper early. I think it was 4:2 or 4:1.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, chapter 4.
4 verse 1?
Yeah.
Adam lay with his wife, Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain.
Ah, Dick Dicky.
Dick Dicky! He's not in the Bible.
God's false. you have an index. I love it. Harlots.
What? Oh, dude, there's an index in Big Boy?
Yeah.
These are false gods?
God's false.
Mercy.
Oh, here you go. Child sacrifice, divination, immorality, pride, sacrilege.
Well,
here we go. A Dramelech, a Namelech, Asherah, a Shema.
Now we're not putting the fucking...
Ashtoreth, Baal, Baal Berith, Baal Peor, Baal Zebub. Oh,
Beelzebub?
Bel, Shemesh, why are we're gonna get to him? We're gonna fucking get to him.
Good things.
Conscience.
Happiness and sin.
Good things. For evil.
What? Name.
Girdle.
We got to go through this a different day. We're talking about Genesis. This is amazing.
Holy shit, it's so long.
There's a lot. Oh,
okay,
my
there we
God.
go.
That's exciting, though.
Yeah.
Are you looking for Genesis 4:1?
Yeah, I just want to see what this is.
Okay.
And so that was my biblical joke. And Adam knew Eve, his wife.
Yeah, getting to know someone.
Biblically.
Yeah. This is... Genesis was wild.
It was
a wild time. No, but like, what lessons do you think this book was trying to convey? Because I feel like if I want to we talk about the actual point of this book and why people latch onto it.
Yeah.
The whole fucking thing is this people again. This is a whole religion. So many different religions are based off of this book in particular.
Yeah.
At the same time, you have so many Catholics, and then Irish Catholics, which are slightly different, and then Protestants and Presbyterians, and the fucking Westboro Baptist Church takes every word in this book literally. Yeah. So many people think it's important. Westboro Baptist Church obviously is the fucking worst and go straight to hell and die and get raped in the ass forever and ever. Amen. Yeah. But what lessons do you think, when you were younger, because you were raised in this book, what did you learn when you were reading this stuff and going to class? What were they teaching you?
So the way, every single story in this book that was cherry picked to teach a lesson, because it was
you kind of got to cherry pick.
Yeah, I'm not saying if you're trying to teach a kid this, you have to.
Absolutely.
Right?
Oh, you don't want to teach him the lesson about having sex with a prostitute and then killing her because you're ashamed that you had sex with a prostitute?
Yeah, I feel like that's not a great lesson for kids.
They would have a lot of questions that would be hard to answer.
Right. No, every single story is all about God has a plan, right? That's literally every single thing. if you trust in God and you follow his teachings, then he'll take care of you. So you have Noah, because Noah was a righteous man, so God protected him even though the rest of the world was wicked.
Yeah.
And Joseph had faith in God even when things were going poorly and he was sold into slavery, so God protected him. Like every single thing from the context of like trying to teach a kid this book is just have faith in God and he'll protect you.
Mm-hmm.
If you want my actual take on what legitimately this actually is.
Absolutely.
So for all intents and purposes, the New Testament and the Old Testament are different books. They're entirely different stories and messages.
They should be treated like two.
Yes.
This shouldn't be the Holy Bible. This should be the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Right. The New Testament is modern Christianity. That's what the New Testament is. That's Jesus sacrificing himself for everybody, the coming judgment, the second coming of Christ, all that shit. That is Christianity, is the New Testament.
Okay.
And I feel like the Old Testament is somebody that is very committed to a story, insisting that you accept everything as canon.
Okay.
So, like, if you have somebody, like, this is going to be a weird example, but if you have somebody that's a huge Star Wars fan and they're adamant that, like, you have to accept the prequels as canon even though you don't like the stories.
Right.
Or you don't think it, like, adds anything to it or whatever. Like, that's what it is. Because if you actually read this book, like the Old Testament, it is people who don't understand how the world works coming up with stories to explain how the world works.
Trying to like find meaning for why bad things happen and like how a motherfucker gets sold into slavery and shit.
Yeah. But as time has gone on and people have become committed to the New Testament, they've decided we have to, like, this feeds into this, so we have to accept both of them.
Okay.
That's my take.
That's why we read. That's why that's why they have the Old Testament.
Yeah. Is it just like God created the world? But I mean, I don't think there's any good lessons in this book. Like not in the whole Bible, but like in Genesis.
We just finished Genesis, so we're obviously talking about Genesis.
I can't think, because this is coming from an atheist perspective for me, right? It's like I don't believe in God, so I don't think you need faith in God for him to take care of you, because I don't think he will.
Right.
And like from like an interpersonal lesson of like how to be a human being, I don't think there's a single beneficial thing in this book.
I was raised Catholic and all that stuff, and now I'm trying to. I guess the whole point of this podcast for me is like trying to discover more about like what I want to, like, I guess reaffirming the beliefs I have, but then like going through it and being like, well, maybe there's something to glean from this.
Yeah.
I want to learn. I genuinely want to learn what's in this and explore.
That's why, all jokes aside, I'm telling you what it says. Like I may say it in a weird tone, but I'm not.
That's why I have 5 Bibles, is because I want to understand that much what is in here.
Right.
It is a mystery to me
how
it could be this popular. Like, Harry Potter makes sense. Lord of the Rings makes sense. You know, Hunger Games makes sense. Why that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
But this never made sense to me. I never got it. It's not like... I just didn't get it. So I'm doing this whole thing. I'm interested. I'm in.
Yeah.
And I have all these Bibles that are very different on fucking purpose. I have a comic book goddamn Bible that was $18. And the Bible I actually wanted was 5 quarters. Okay. I am doing this. And I gotta say, man, as someone who, is trying to learn and trying to be very open-minded, but does not believe that in the literal translation of this book and trying to understand the teachings, dude, there's not a lot in Genesis. There is not a lot. You have to like really comb through and fucking finagle the words around in order to be like, well, the Bible, in the book of Genesis, it says that you should
if we want to reach
50 chapters. No, reach, man. Fucking reach. I mean, that's the whole point. That's what people do with this fucking book is they always are constantly reaching. So
there are stories in this book that you, like, people do things you objectively know are bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could make the argument that those people are being used as examples to show you what not to do.
You could. I think that's fair.
That's
the Bible doesn't say that.
No.
though. It does not ever point that out. It's so
No.
matter of fact. It's just so and so did this, and then this happened, and then they died.
But
and
for the sake of reaching, that's the best you can do.
Yeah.
You can look at it and say, see how this person makes you upset because they did a bad thing. This is the Bible showing you not to do that.
And for a book that's supposed to be the closest thing, I guess we have to an instruction manual for life.
Yeah.
Is what people say about this.
Right.
Doesn't really hold your hand through anything.
Not much of
You
anything.
gotta infer pretty much any sort of thing from it. It's just like, oh yeah, well if you believe in God and things are gonna go your way. It's like, oh yeah, what happened to Esau? He's doing right? He's all right. Is he? He's doing good? No. Is he? No, he believed in God. Yeah. He was a faithful kid. Yeah, he was just hungry one day.
Yeah.
That's his sin. Is he was working out and then he got hungry and was hanging out with his brother and his brother fucking tricked him and manipulated him. And then his brother, his entire story is told and fuck Esau, I guess. Like it's just it's so infuriating.
It's mind-boggling.
If you want to have any sort of emotional attachment to anybody in this book, you become infuriated.
Yeah.
It's baffling how people could have a good time reading this. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really gather much from Genesis. I got to be honest. I feel a little I feel cool that I read it and there's a lot of dumb shit in there, but like I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel any sort of like religious or spiritual or holy or any sort of awakening.
Let me say this.
Mm-hmm. And it's only the first book.
Right. This is the backstory, right? Like the Old Testament is a lot of backstory. So as much as I just want to shit on it and say there's nothing good in there, the express purpose of these first few books of the Bible is not to teach you how to live your life.
Oh, okay.
I mean...
Are these the attention holders?
But, like, you could make the argument that the entire book should serve the purpose of showing you, like... should show you how to live your life and what to do and teach you, like, good things. There are lessons peppered throughout, I suppose. I mean... Genesis is the beginning of the world.
Yeah.
So, like...
1700 BC?
Yeah. So, Genesis gets a pass for not teaching us anything because that's not its express purpose.
Ooh, I want to see when Adam and Eve, if there's years on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to just go through that shit now.
But...
Keep talking. I want you to make your point. I'm listening.
You can give Genesis a pass for not expressly teaching you anything because that's literally not its purpose. It's just establishing this is how the world began, which is why I say that it's people who don't know how the world works trying to explain how the world works.
Right.
Once we get into Exodus and so on, it becomes more of, even though it may not be like a manual for how to live your life, it becomes at least rules for how to appropriately be a person of the Jewish faith. Because we're not talking about Christianity yet. Like when you get to like the 10 Commandments, that's like life stuff. But when you get into like numbers and stuff like that, like, I mean, that's really just like how to be a hardcore Jew.
Okay.
So like we will get to a point where it expressly tells you how to do things, but I would still make the argument that no book of this Bible should get a pass because the idea is that it is
the Holy Bible.
Yeah.
It's there's no exceptions. There's no no. If you're gonna put holy on your fucking title, if it's gonna be right there on the front every goddamn fucking time, the whole thing has to be holy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And you can't cherry pick.
Nope.
And like it's weird, right? Because you say, oh well, the whole thing has to be holy, and then you get people like the Westboro Baptist Church who believe this whole book is holy, and they're monsters. They're actual terrible people who should be killed.
Book is written by insane people. Like some of the shit with like some of the rules that you get into. A person should be put to death if they wear two different types of clothing, like two different types of cloth.
Yeah.
A woman should be put to death if she attempts to instruct a man in any way.
Ooh, if her hair's not fully covered.
Yeah. Like these are insane things, and you can go down the list and you can say like, because so I was talking to my girlfriend about this a while ago because I wanted her to play your role, but she's too much of a devil's advocate and she'll just like get into arguments about like, well, maybe this is why, and it's not funny.
You would accidentally make your girlfriend a hardcore Christian.
No, she just likes to piss me off because she knows I feel super angry about this. And she's fucking.
That's a way better show. Put her on here.
God, I couldn't do it. I'd kill her. Well, she'd be trying to teach me, so I'd be justified in stoning her to death.
God, that's weird.
I would become militant just to justify that. No, but
you would hear about a murder in the news.
Like, I was telling her about the two different types of cloth thing, And her argument, which is valid, is at the time, like, there was so little of everything because you're hand making everything you have. Like, there's not production facilities.
Right.
So everything is incredibly valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So you rest on these days to preserve your strength. You don't eat this stuff on these days to preserve whatever. And so the whole fabric thing is just like, they didn't have a lot of clothing. You need to preserve it and whatever. But I'm like, okay, cool. That's a valid point to make it a rule. But you don't get to murder somebody over that.
No.
You just don't. You don't get a pass on kill this person.
But things were so much different. Like, again, people wrote this a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Things were different.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like a sacred resource. Like they only had like 2 shirts. Like a man with 3 shirts was king, you know?
Right, yeah.
And it's like, oh, so you have a fucking polyester blend? Fuck you, man. No, you don't get to have that. I'm sorry. Like, you wasted so many resources in making those fucking pants. I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, and that's the argument, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
And that
as
makes
extreme
sense.
as it is, yes.
That makes sense in that context.
But not a holy scripture for living your life.
in 2019, no, my dude.
Yeah.
No,
That's what I'm
you can't do that.
Yeah.
This is I feel like this should be a relic, right? Like,
Yes.
it shouldn't be a living, breathing document.
We should treat this the same way that we treat Greek mythology.
Yes.
You should read this book like, oh, dude, fucking okay. So then Zeus like breaks open his own head and like pulls his own kid out and then fucks all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
If you told this story like that, so like fucking in the Jewish, God's name is Yahweh.
Hercules and shit.
Yeah. Do you know God's name is Yahweh?
I do now.
So that's like I'm sorry. I think in Judaism, Yahweh is how they refer to God. Like, that's his holy name.
I think it's Yeehaw.
No. So, but I mean, like, can you imagine like telling the story from like the Greek perspective? Like, and then the entire world was evil, so Yahweh fucking flooded it, and he saved this one guy, and that guy was on a boat with 2 of it. Like, that'd be a great story. If you taught it as Greek mythology, that'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah, it would be. There'd be a lot more action in it too. People would spice it up.
Yeah,
would spice it up.
But it's hard to read this book when you're like, and then theoretically, God literally murdered everything on planet Earth,
and he's the Almighty God.
Yeah.
Praise be unto him.
Much more difficult. And then he jerked off to the smell of burning animals.
That also happened.
Much more difficult to get stoked on that.
Yeah, no, I can't get behind that.
No.
Can't do it.
Anything else we want to?
So what I found for years in chapter 11, up until chapter 11, there are no years.
Okay.
And then chapter 12 gives us the first year, and it's circa 1921 BC.
Okay. And what happens in that chapter? Like, what's the heading of that chapter?
Chapter 12, the call of Abram.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's no time until after the flood.
Yeah.
Okay. Convenient.
Weird, right? The earth just didn't exist. It was time wasn't real then.
Well,
so.
yeah, it's because people were living to fucking 812 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, we did it. I don't know how I feel about it, but we did it.
I'm happy it's done.
Me too.
I'm excited to move on to Exodus.
Yeah, me
and by
too, man.
excited, I mean it's the thing we're doing. So, all right. I want to get maybe next time we can do an episode on the index.
Yeah.
We already finished a chapter, so let's celebrate by not doing any more work today.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I don't have any more notes, so we can't.
But the index is exciting. I want to comb through that. Maybe we do like a secret or a special episode like we did when I bought all these terrible things.
Let's do that.
This is good.
Yeah, we're doing it. We did it. We're farther than we were before.
We did Genesis.
Like, share, subscribe.
Please.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. What's up, WNTT on Instagram and the Twitters.
Yeah.
Mostly, I don't really post on Twitter that much. I don't have that much to say outside of this.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to post videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can't just talk about the Bible on Twitter. That's a crazy person.
A crazy person would do that. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you so much. We're done with Genesis.
We did it.
Oh. We built this city. Bow. We built this city on white Jesus. Built this city. Built this city on a white Jesus.